What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Paris. We have Cyril Gane going against Tai Tuivasa.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
And we're back for another betting breakdown video. This week, breaking down UFC Paris. We got a 12-fight card, a card that I'm actually really looking forward to. We do have an early start time as well. I believe it starts 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. I do have a decent amount of bets, a lot of sprinkles as well, a lot of plus money bets. So can't wait to break all those down and break down the card in general. Before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, so you don't miss out on all the other content throughout the week. And as always, I'm going to be breaking down these fights from a betting perspective and a betting perspective only. If you do want a further, more in-depth breakdown on why I like which fighter, on why I am betting what or picking what, I did post a full card breakdown and prediction video, I believe, on Wednesday. This video is going to be kind of short and sweet. Started feeling sick on Saturday, and it's just progressively gotten worse and worse and worse each day. I'm wondering when I'm going to feel better, but this is the worst day so far. So hopefully it's at its peak and I start feeling better, because this is terrible. But was able to get everything done throughout the week and ready to talk about the fights now. All right, we will start with the first fight of the card. We have a newcomer in Eileen, Perez, and that is the case with a lot of these fights. We have a lot of newcomers. I think 6 newcomers coming in, a lot of fighters coming in on short notice for this UFC Paris card, so we got to take note of all of that. But yeah, Stephanie Egger opened up minus 145, and then she went all the way to like minus, I don't know, she's like minus 350 like on Sunday, and Eileen Perez was around plus 275, plus 285. Money's been pouring in on Perez throughout the week. She's a very popular dog, and this is a fight I just really want nothing to do with, honestly, because we just don't know a lot about Eileen Perez. You watch the tape on her, she looks really good. Oh, she looks good. She looks good. She's going out there and she's beating her opponents. She's having a lot of success. We have seen her really not have any trouble in there with these fighters, but the problem is she's fighting the worst competition I've ever seen in my life. So it's just one of those fights where it is very hard to gauge where Perez is at. Yes, she's looking solid out there against these really low-level fighters, but you know, how's she going to look in the UFC against a UFC caliber fighter in Stephanie Egger? I do like Stephanie Egger here. I'm not going out there and running to lay minus 245 on her. This is a fight I'm, perfectly okay passing on. If anything, it would be Stephanie Egger inside the distance, which is around plus 115. I see plus 120 on DraftKings. She has finished all but one of her wins. Perez has never been finished, but she's never fought anybody good. So Egger inside the distance, but a fight I'm just completely content with passing on and just really want nothing to do with. Khalid Taha going against Christian Quinones. I do have 2 bets on this fight. The first one is Khalid Taha scorecards equals no action. If you guys are new here, that means that if this fight goes the distance, the bet is void, you do get your money back. If Khalid Taha wins inside the distance, the bet hits, and if Quinones wins inside the distance, the bet loses. And I like that a lot. Minus 135 on DraftKings Sportsbook. On BetOnline, it is around minus 210, probably where it should be. The reason I like that is Khalid Taha is as tough as they come. Never been knocked out, only been submitted once, not submitted in the UFC. It was prior to that. Christian Quinones, I kind of do question his durability. He's been finished 3 times, twice by knockout. Seen him hurt a ton, dropped a ton. Seen him submitted before as well. Seen him, being really sloppy on the mat, getting reverse as well. And Khalid Taha hits very, very hard. And Khalid Taha has a very tricky submission game as well, very sneaky submission game. So I think the finish, if there is a finish in this fight, it's going to come from the Khalid Taha side. Quinones is a very popular dog. He'd open plus 130, he's now minus 105. It's about to pick him now, and that is because Christian Quinones probably has a good opportunity to be the minute winner in this fight. He has an opportunity to go out there and get takedowns against Khalid Taha. That's where Taha has struggled. He has an opportunity to go out there and land more volume than Khalid Taha. So I get the dog shot on Quinones in that aspect. I just personally think that Taha is very live to catch Quinones. Quinones coming in here on short notice, one of the short notice fighters. A long travel to Paris as well. And Christian Quinones, I believe, was the last one to weigh in today as well. So maybe he had a rough weight cut. But yeah, I do like Taha here to win. I like Taha to win inside the distance. I also put a half unit on Taha inside the distance at plus 240, and that's actually plus 280 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So I kind of pulled the trigger a little bit too early, I guess. But yeah, if Taha does win, I see it being inside the distance. So yeah, Taha inside the distance, half a unit, plus 240, and then Taha scorecards equals no action, minus 135, 1 unit on that, 1.5 units total on some Taha here. Benoit Saint Denis going against Gabriel Miranda. And this is probably my favorite fight on the entire prelims. This is going to be an absolute car crash. We have Gabriel Miranda, who has, I believe, 16 wins, all 16 of them coming inside the distance. All 16 of them coming by, 15 to 16 coming by submission, and all 16 of them coming under 1.5 rounds. He's never won a fight that has went over 1.5 rounds, and that is because he goes out there and he goes balls to the wall. He puts everything into getting the fight down to the mat. He's pulling guard, he's jumping guillotine, he's doing everything in his power to get the fight down to the mat. He wants absolutely nothing to do with the striking from at least what I've seen. Miranda has finished 14 out of 16 wins in round one. Out of these guys, 25 wins combined. All 25 of them come inside the distance. I believe it's 24 of them have came before round 3, and then 23 out of the 25 have came under 1.5 rounds. So these guys are getting in and they're getting out. Benoit Saint-Denis, obviously very durable. We showed that off in the Zaleski Dos Santos fight. That fight should have been stopped like 5 or 6 times though, so arguably he should have been finished in his only loss, let's be real. And then Miranda, he's been finished once by knockout, never by sub, but you see Miranda, he's going out there and he's slowing down after 5 minutes, and that's going to be a big problem here against Saint-Denis. If Miranda does not get that early sub, I think Saint-Denis does eventually break him and get him out of there in that second and third round. Miranda's another guy that's taking a travel to Paris, coming in on short notice here. Short notice for Miranda, I don't really like, considering he typically, in general, has about 5 minutes of gas. So I like the fight doesn't go to decision, and I got that at minus 230. I put 1.5 units on it. It's actually sitting there at minus 215 on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. So again, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit early. I didn't really expect the overs and stuff to be very popular because these guys do get in and get out. And I also have another bet on FanDuel Sportsbook. They have the fight ends by submission at plus 135, which is interesting because you take a look at these guys, 25 wins, 23 of them come by submission. Benoit Saint-Denis, all but one of his finishes come by submission there, one by knockout. And then same thing with Miranda. He has 15, 16 wins, all of them by submission outside of one. So that fight ends by sub, plus 135. I put a quarter unit on that. And then I also have a quarter unit on Gabriel Miranda to win by submission in the first round at plus 1,600. Like that makes no sense. That line has been hit. Got it on Sunday or Monday there, and rightfully so. It just made no sense. Like that is literally his win condition. That's how he wins this fight, and it's still there on FanDuel Sportsbook. Looks like it's plus 1,100 best odds there. I mean, it's his win condition. I don't see him winning a decision. I don't see him winning by knockout. If Miranda wins, it's a round 1 submission. And I will say, there will be a lot of opportunities for that. This fight is going to hit the mat. Benoit Saint-Denis does put himself into bad spots. You take a look at Benoit Saint-Denis outside the UFC. He is getting himself into a lot of bad spots. He is getting reversed. He's a little bit sloppy on the mat as well. Miranda is going to have some opportunities here. But I think the most likely scenario is Benoit Saint-Denis does weather that early first round storm. He takes over, breaks this guy late first, early second, and finishes the fight himself. So fight doesn't go, minus 230. Fight ends by sub, plus 135. And the Miranda wins by sub, plus 1,600. Quarter unit on the ends by sub, Miranda by sub, round 1. And then 1.5 units on the fight doesn't go, minus 230 there. All right, next we have Nasruddin Imavov going against Joaquin Buckley. No bet here for me on this one. Imavov is much bigger than Joaquin Buckley. Buckley's definitely the smaller fighter in this fight, and I think Imavov is the better striker overall. But Buckley, if he does win, it is probably by knockout. Buckley by knockout plus 350. I think an interesting bet on this fight is that fight ends by knockout, minus 105. I don't see anybody having success with the takedowns. I don't see Imavov taking down and holding down Buckley, vice versa. I think this fight probably does end inside the distance, and you do improve that minus 190 with that minus 105 fight ending by KO. I don't hate that. Both guys have a ton of power, especially Buckley, but Imavov has a lot of power in his own right. Buckley's been knocked out 3 times. If anything, it would be that fight ends in KO at minus 105, but no bet for me on this one. Michael Figlak going against Farazayam. Newcomer here in Figlak, and he's a big favorite. And I get it. I think stylistically it's a very winnable fight. I'm not a big fan of Zayam. I think Figlak's going to pressure Zayam, make him feel uncomfortable, mix in takedowns here or there, and win a decision. I do think it'll be somewhat competitive on the feet. I actually do favor Zayam in a way on the striking. I think he's the better technical striker. I think he's the better striker in general, but the problem is Zayam is just content to stay on the outside and point fight, whereas Figlak's the complete opposite. He's not really going to let Zayam do that, and that's why I do think it's a solid matchup for Figlak, but minus 210, I'm okay with passing on that one. Abousupian, Magomedov going against Dustin Stoltzfus. Yeah, I like Magomedov here. The only concern would be that 1 year and 8 month layoff. Another fight I'm probably going to pass on. I saw Magomedov at -250, -255, -260. Was, close to pulling the trigger. Ultimately ended up passing. I guess you could say he's a solid parlay piece, but I wouldn't really be making any parlays on this card. But yeah, I think Magomedov's better pretty much everywhere. I think in terms of the striking, it's Magomedov all day. It's not even close. I do question the chin and the durability of Magomedov. He has been finished quite a few times. I think 3 of 4 times in his losses. Dustin Stoltzfus, I think he might be getting a little bit underrated here. He's a solid fighter, but he's just in the striking. It's Magomedov all day. Could Stoltzfus take down Magomedov and get on top? Potentially. But I actually think it's Magomedov that can get takedowns here. Stoltzfus has a 47% takedown defense. He absolutely can be taken down. And outside of a Stoltzfus knockout, which I think is super unlikely, or like a Stoltzfus submission off his back, which I think is unlikely, I think Magomedov should take this fight. I could see him winning by knockout, decision, or submission. So I would probably just take a look at the money line, but it's -300 now, and you really want to lay -300 on a guy that hasn't fought in a year and 8 months against somebody that's been more active, and not really, but I do think Magomedov's a very good fighter. But yeah, pass for me on this one. Charles Jourdain going against Nathaniel Wood. Yeah, Wood is another very popular underdog, and kind of like the Taha Quinones fight, I think the minute winning for Nathaniel Wood could be very close. And on the feet, I probably do favor Nathaniel Wood in terms of the striking, the volume. Very good striker, obviously. And then also, I feel like Nathaniel Wood can mix in takedowns. And kind of like the Taha fight, though, Jourdain is super dangerous. He's finished all but one of his wins. The one when he didn't finish was against Andre Ewell. I don't know how he didn't finish that fight, but this is a guy that goes all out, tons of power, dangerous everywhere, black belt in BJJ, can get submissions. We saw that against Lana Venata, can obviously get knockouts, can break guys, and Charles Jourdain is as durable as they come, right? Only been finished once, and that was by Julian Erosa in that 3rd round. Nathaniel Wood, I really question the durability. This guy's getting hurt a lot by, remind you, 135 pounders. This is at 145. It's Wood's second fight at 145. The first fight was against Charles Rosa, which kind of an easy match at 145, let's be honest. And then this is going to be like his real first test at 145. Jourdain's going to be much bigger. He's going to hit much harder than Nathaniel Wood. And I just don't know if Nathaniel Wood can take a hard shot from Jourdain. And then I go and watch the Burgos fight, and I'm thinking to myself, is Nathaniel Wood going to be able to eat these same shots that Shane Burgos, a huge 45er with a phenomenal chin, was able to eat? And I just don't think so. I think Jourdain does catch Wood at some point. This is going to be a war in terms of the minute winning. Like I said, Wood should have a lot of success here. It's just at some point I do see Jourdain hurting Wood very bad, putting him out, maybe getting a club and sub. If Nathaniel Wood does choose to wrestle, maybe Jourdain catches him in something, but I do think Jourdain is very live for that finish. So I do have 2 bets here as well. I have Charles Jourdain scorecards equals no action. The same thing I did with Taha, the finish only there. And I got that at -182. And I have 1.5 units on that. And then I also have a half unit on Charles Jourdain to win inside the distance at +190. I think the 3rd round sprinkle for Charles Jourdain is definitely in play. This guy is a completely different animal in that 3rd round. But I do like Charles Jourdain to go out there and get a finish win. William Gomez going against Jarno Aarons. I do have a bet here. I have the over 2.5 rounds, half a unit +108. I don't want to be too invested in this fight. 2 newcomers that we don't know a ton about, but I do see that Gomez is a decent sized favorite, and that is because there's a clear path to victory. Jarno Aarons can be taken down, and once he does get taken down, he's not getting up. Gomez, I don't really like his striking a ton. He does a lot of backing up, counter striker. I think Aarons could have success on the feet just pressing forward and throwing volume, but at some point, Gomez is going to get this fight down to the mat. He is going to control Jarno Aarons. He has some solid ground and pound. I think Gomez kind of grinds this one out. Aarons is super tough, never been knocked out. Both guys never been knocked out. If this fight does finish, I actually worry that it might be an Aarons sub off of his back. Aarons actually has, I think, 5 or 6 submissions on his record, but I don't think it's all that likely. I think Gomez kind of grinds this one out on top, takedowns, and wins a decision here. So I do like the over 2.5 rounds, half a unit +108. Nasrat Haqparast going against John McDessie. Yeah, I think it's a clear dog or pass here. I do got to say, I do favor Haqparast in this matchup just because he's 10 years younger. That's significant. And on top of that, McDessie's 37 years old. He's coming off of a layoff. I don't like that. He's coming off of a pretty big injury as well. I don't like that. He didn't look great at the weigh-ins as well. It looked kind of off. It looked like he didn't really want to be there. I'm not sure what was going on with him there, but I do favor Haqparast, but I think Makdessi's very live for this upset. I'm actually going to pick him outright as a pick. I just don't know if I'm going to get there from a betting perspective. There were some props that were sticking out for me for the Makdessi side. Decision for Makdessi is plus 330 on DraftKings. That was kind of tempting. And then the just the money line in general, I think could be tempting as well. I think in terms of the volume, it's going to be very close to competitive. I think Makdessi can even outland Haqparast, but I do think it's going to be the power of Haqparast that can definitely sway the judges. Maybe Haqparast can hurt Makdessi or even knock him out, and that's kind of what I'm worried about as well. But if anything in this fight, it would be the Makdessi money line, the decision prop. The decision only for Makdessi also stuck out, but just seeing him at the weigh-ins didn't really inspire a ton of confidence for me. So I think I'm going to sit this one out, sit out on betting the 37-year-old Makdessi. But the line is pretty tempting, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Alessio Di Chirico, Roman Kopylov, not much to say here. Clear pass. If anything, it's the fight goes to decision. I don't trust either of these guys. I'm not high on either of these guys. Both guys are very frustrating to watch. Both guys are even more frustrating to bet. I have flashbacks of me betting on Alessio Di Chirico and just yelling at the TV for this guy to do something. He just doesn't really do anything. It's just super frustrating to watch. And in fights where he has a wrestling advantage, a grappling advantage, it's just he doesn't go for takedowns as much as he should, and that's the case here. The path to victory is clear for Di Chirico. I think on the feet it's competitive. Just mixing some takedowns. That's what Kopylov struggles. It's just I don't trust Di Chirico to do that. The pick's Di Chirico, but I do not trust this guy, and I'm not betting on this guy. Robert Whittaker, Marvin Vettori. I do have Robert Whittaker to win by decision. I got that at plus 100. And I do have half a unit on that. That was my first bet of the week, actually, and it just makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think it's a good matchup for Whittaker. I see the line has been coming down throughout the week. Whittaker was like minus 250 earlier in the week, and now he's sitting at minus 205, I think, on FanDuel. And a lot of people apparently on Vettori in terms of the line movement here, but to be honest, I don't really see a ton of Vettori love out there. But I think it's such a good match for Whittaker. I think it's, on the feed, it's Robert Whittaker. It's all day. I guess Vettori can have some success, but Whittaker is clearly the better striker. And, Vettori is going to probably try to look to get this fight down to the mat. He's going to take down Robert Whittaker, who has like an 84% takedown defense and a phenomenal get-up game. I just don't think so. So I do think this fight plays out on the feed, and if it does, I mean, you got to favor Whittaker. So the line movement, honestly, I don't get it. I guess it could play out somewhat competitive, but just on paper, it feels like a very good matchup for Robert Whittaker. Instead of playing that money line, though, at minus 205, 210, 220, whatever there, plus money or near plus money for the decision line, I think is the way to go. Marvin Vettori, tough as they come. The guy's a brick for a head, never been submitted, never been knocked out, never been knocked down. I guess Whittaker can potentially knock him down with a head kick, but I remember him eating a flush head kick from Paulo Costa and just smiling at him. So, Whittaker for me, Whittaker by decision, half a unit plus 100. And then Cyril Gane going against Tai Tuivasa. If you like Tai Tuivasa, you play the knockout prop, which is around plus 600. And if you like Tai Tuivasa, you play the first round or second round knockout prop as well. Outside of that, I just don't think he has a great chance here. Cyril Gane, should it be a minus 600 favorite? Probably not. I don't think there should be a minus 600 favorite in any heavyweight fight, unless it's like, Harry Hunsucker is fighting or something. But, Cyril Gane is the better fighter in every single aspect of MMA outside of pure power. And that pure power could be enough. It's a heavyweight fight. At the end of the day, Tai Tuivasa could land a shot. It only takes one little slip up, one little mistake from Gane, and Tai Tuivasa can put him out. But the thing with Gane is very risk adverse. He's not going to go out there and get into a war with Tai Tuivasa, that's what Tai Tuivasa wants. He's going to try his best to not get hit. He's going to kind of stay on the outside, pick apart Tai Tuivasa. He's going to get into the clinch. He's going to make Tai Tuivasa work. He's going to go for takedowns here as well. There are some spots I do like in this fight. The first spot I'll talk about is going to be the fight starts round 3. I have 1.25 units on that at minus 130 on FanDuel. It's actually a better price now. It's like minus 128. I think this fight does get extended, if not, honestly, potentially go the distance. I'm personally picking a 4th or 5th round finish for Cyril Gane. Tai Tuivasa has never been to the 4th round or the 5th round, and Tai Tuivasa, his cardio is not like atrocious, but he does clearly slow down after 1.5 rounds. I think Ciryl Gane's going to take his time, stick on the outside, and kind of get this fight extended. I don't think he's going to want to mess around on the feet and get into a brawl, a war, especially early with Tai Tuivasa. I think Tai Tuivasa has about 7.5 minutes, and after that, it should be Ciryl Gane just completely taking over and eventually probably finishing the fight. But yeah, I do like the fight to start round 3. I do think we see this one get extended, and I don't hate the line on that as well. I also do like the Ciryl Gane to win by 4-5, round 4-5, or decision on FanDuel Sportsbook. I got that at plus 150. I believe that's still there. I have a half a unit on that. And yeah, like I said, I think this fight gets extended. I think Gane takes his time. I think he gets a finish in that 4th or 5th round, if not a decision win as well. And then I also sprinkled Ciryl Gane to win by submission, and I got that at plus 650, and it has got bet down a little bit, but the reason being is, Ciryl Gane is going to have a massive advantage on the mat. Tai Tuivasa, a fish out of water, literally on the mat. We saw Sergey Spivak take him down, and I will say Tai Tuivasa did a very good job at getting up initially in that first round, but once he got tired, he just didn't have anything off the mat, off his back. And then against Junior Dos Santos, he got a knockdown. Dos Santos got on top, and he just did not know what to do at all. He was throwing up punches, off his back, and ultimately got TKO'd there. But yeah, Gane, sneaky submission game. I feel like the submission could be live if he gets his fight down to the mat. The submission is definitely on the table. So 1.25 units on the fight starts round 3, minus 130. Gane to win in 4-5 or decision, half a unit plus 150, and then Gane by submission, quarter unit plus 650. Those are the picks in the bets for this week. Kind of a tough week, a lot of newcomers, like I said, a lot of short notice fighters, but should be a good card overall. And yeah, so I might go live for best bet tomorrow for the fights. Fights are at 12. I'm thinking about maybe going live around 11. If I feel up to it, that is the plan. So make sure you guys are subscribed so not miss out on that. Come hang out. I will give the best bet for each and every fight on the card. And other than that, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, all the good stuff. We'll talk to you guys very soon. You can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. And best of luck for UFC Paris.